big moose, black bear. Wow, that is huge. All the way up here on top. Not too bad. These gotta be deeper teeth, right? Earring? My shed stash is right over here. And grouse is right up here. It's gonna be who gets it first is who deserves it. Being out here, the appreciation to take a bird like this. I have food with me, I could eat that, but every time that I harvest an animal out here, mushroom, fish, whatever, I know it's one less animal that had to go through who knows what, and acreage of farm that had to been sprayed down, tiled. This bird had a good life. There's been no damage to the grounds. Here's my primitive map where I'm gonna go off of. This is Cup Lake and all the streams that flow into it. This is gonna take so much to take this home. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let me show you what I am taking this through to get it back. It's starting to get dark, so I gotta hurry up. I know I'm heading towards the sun, is where my camp is, but I am probably about 2 miles. How am I gonna carry this back? I'm so far away. I'm halfway there. And my camp over there on that lake over there. These sheds came from another lake twice as far as this is, at least. Oh my gosh, I feel like giving up. Mike is baking a damn pizza. There we go. Pizza. Just needs to rise. Stop eating the dough, Mike. Oh shit. You gotta be kidding me. How did he flew that far? How? Why? What? Oh my god, this is gonna take forever to find him. Oh, that was a perfect shot. I know it. He went this way. Alright, here we go. Here's the next hour of my night. Great. Alright, hours of searching. And I finally find him. That doesn't look like moose poop. There's a big bedding area. There's moose poop. That's fresh. Jeez. Well traveled. Very well traveled. No grouse, but we'll get grouse tomorrow. We will. Here we go. Voila. Pepperoni, no grouse. Pizza. This here is an unnamed lake next to the lake. Glad I brought the pack though. pretty far. This has to be a lake trout. No, it's not. It's a damn. Get out of here. I haven't had a drop of rain. Haven't had to use the tarp. Every night has been clear. And I can see the stars, the Milky Way. I wish the camera picked up on that. Otherwise, I videotape it for all of you. Sheds you can find anywhere. Moose travel absolutely everywhere. But if you're looking at a place like this with moss, 90% of the time those sheds are going to be grown over with moss and eaten away, rotted away almost completely. I don't waste my time looking in very forested areas or boggy areas. I stick to the tops. It really is depressing when you find a really nice shed and you find it somewhere here and it's completely rotted away. Would have been beautiful on a wall or chandelier. I'd rather just not find one in here. If I could close my eyes and make it out of this area to get up to the high tops, I would. Let's try it. No. Okay, what sucks about, the map doesn't show elevation good at all. It's going to show you where a high peak is, but it's not going to show you like the details around that peak. Whenever you're crossing, trying to get from one peak to the other peak, and you have to cross like a bog down there, and you go through like the mid-elevation terrain, and then you get up to the tops, sometimes you get across this where it's a cliff all the way around. It doesn't show that on the map. So then you gotta think, is it worth it just to climb this cliff or go around to the other side and it's gonna be worse off or whatever? Because it's not just a jaunt around. I gotta bushwhack through all this to get to the other side to see if it's worth it. In this case, I'm just gonna climb. I am 3 hillsides away from the lake right now. Lake is in that direction. Down, up, down, up, down, up. And there's the unnamed lake over here. And if there's a moose shed anywhere in here, I have to take it all the way back there. Have to. I can't sleep with myself if I just left it out here. Oh, look how beautiful this is. It's weird, the harder it gets as I get away from my canoe and bushwhacking, the further I go and the harder it gets, the more, not comfortable, but the better I feel just knowing that that much harder makes it so much more rare for anyone to ever be here. And I'm the only one that really knows the way. I don't yet, but on the way back you get a good grasp of what's the easiest way to take. To point A, point B, you really don't know. You take a guess. But point B back to point A, you definitely do. And then porting, you're point back A to B again, taking gear, then you learn better ways, and that's how a trail's made. Not even kidding you. I have not changed my foot placement at all. Look what I'm stepping on and how I'm stepping on it. Look at this. Look at this. That's how I find a paddle. Stepping on it like this. That is hilarious. But also sad at the same time because I gotta bring this huge thing back. That's a neat one. Look at that. Oh. This might be my best one I've ever found. Do you know how far out I am right now to bring this thing back? I'm right at an unnamed lake west. That's where I got to bring this back from. I'm at the peak of the ridge. Sheds are always in better condition when they're on top of hills like this. Woo! Little Ric Flair, huh? Look at that guy. Oh. Getting closer. Oh, there's my canoe on that point over there. Oh my gosh. It's probably taken 2 hours to get where I am, almost back. Trying to follow moose trails, but the closer you get to lakes like this, there's a lot more blowdown. Just makes it all the more memorable, right? Unfortunately, the fastest way down is up. This is all blowdown above my chest, down that way. This is one of the plateaus that is gonna slowly be all rock all the way down almost. That's a cool picture though, huh? When you're climbing up stuff like this, a good key is to put your feet right in between the wedge of a tree and the dirt. Make sure that tree is not deadish. And of course, use your antler, your trusty antler, as your third touching base. I need some water bad. You know how after a 14-hour workday, you take off your boots at the end of the day and it feels amazing? This feels better. You're about to see what a primitive port is that decades ago used to be a regular port. I'm talking probably like 30, 40 years ago. So we'll see. You can see him right behind that down tree. See his head right there? That's either the same bobcat from last night, or it's like a great wolf. Right between those trees, see his head? There he goes. Honestly, probably wolves, bears, bobcats, mountain lions, all that probably watch you all the time anyways. You just have no idea. Probably always this close. So much easier to spot them and get close to animals when you're by yourself. That looks like a little bear den or something right there. I gotta check that out for sure. So a lot of people probably think about coming to this lake and don't know how hard it would be. The port actually, now that I've cleared it up, I cut down 4 dead trees and bushwhacked. And bear, speaking of bear, this is the heaviest concentration of bear doo-doo that I've ever seen. This here is fresh. But there's some. There's much more. Here's some more. That one's hairy. He like a rabbit there. There's some more. There's more. I mean, it just keeps on going on and on. So, don't leave your food too long at this lake if you are here by itself. Okay, so it's gonna get a little noisy. Probably put the rest of this on mute. I would normally put you at the back of the canoe for that cool view, but you're gonna get too scratched up. So you're gonna be tucked right in my pants after I get done with this. go backwards to go forward. You could probably hear that for miles, I'm sure. Forget about it seeing any moose or anything on this side of the lake for a while. Or bear or anything. Okay, I made it to the lake with one backpack. I still got my canoe, another backpack to go, and the sheds. I don't want to spend a night on a lake like this, but I kind of screwed myself on time here. Exactly what I thought it would be, all marsh, so I'm going to try to look for a streamline or a path, moose path. Usually moose paths and bear paths will go around lakes and bogs like this. So if I can find one in ground that's not all marshy, I'll get a little reverb to me here. Through that point, right through that holler. I found the stream. The stream is canoeable the whole way through. That is great news. I thought it'd be dried up. From satellite view, it's dried up. So it's not going to dry up. I mean, this is already October, so yeah, a lot of sows in that. But anyways, so this creek, and I found the old port. So hopefully, geez, wow, I really do say so a lot. So a lot. Oh man, you got scratched, didn't you? Oh, it came out. Cool. Okay, this will be fourth night of eating grouse. Usually I just take the breast back and then I fillet it there at camp, but because I have such a high there's so many signs of bear around this lake and the next few lakes. Even there's bear poop in my freaking camp, so I'm just gonna fillet them right here and take the fillets back. You got the regular breast and the inner tenderloin. Take the grouse breast, kidneys and heart and legs, and take all the meat. I have this Thai curry, good to go. They have a few different meals, really good. I like them. Thai, it's rice and shit. The grouse, I'm gonna add him in here once I fry him up. So they can't get through any of this stuff without waking me up. Hopefully that works and that doesn't happen. Other than that, everywhere else is covered by stuff. Anything in their way. You can see bear tracks right over here. So there we go. Got him. Maybe it's somewhere right there. This only took about 2.5 hours to find him, right before nightfall. A little bit longer and I would not have been able to see him. Oh. Alright, get dinner. I can stay out one more night. I'm leaving bear territory and going back to moose territory. I had 2 bear earlier this morning when I was grouse hunting across this creek from me. So I'm not even comfortable staying here anymore. They know where I'm at. They know that there's food here. So I'm gonna pack on up, head a few lakes east. Now the heart and the rest of the breast I'm gonna put in this biscuits and gravy. Cheers. Thought I'd be able to slide through. No! Oh! Oh, squat. Holy shit, can't believe you survived. Good for you. We're here though, huh? We're here. Oh. This is my fourth port. Here's a canoe, both backpacks. Now like 70 pounds of sheds. It always gets exciting kind of when you run out of food. It used to before I used to shed hunt like after 2 weeks, because then you're down like 40 pounds that you don't have to carry. But now I get rid of all that weight in food and double it. If you remember how I said moose, how they get through stuff like even thicker stuff like this, it's by, if you ever seen a bull moose up close, I've seen plenty. People think everything should be broken in their path, because how could they get through? You ever see a bull moose? They're always bobbing their head like this. And that's how they make it through everything. Just like that. And that's what I have to do to get through, oh, so much stuff. I get hung up. Being by yourself, patience is a whole nother level of virtue. You don't have anyone to complain about or anything. You just got, you get hung up on something, you don't know where it is, especially when you got your canoe and your thick stuff. You just have to woo-sah. All right, let's get going now. There might be trout in this lake up here. I have to check. Oh, this is crazy. I'm thinking about I am gonna bring my canoe up here. And when I bushwhack to get stuff out of my canoe's way that is necessary, such as this, I don't break it unless if it's completely dead and it snaps easy. What I do is I just bend it behind another branch. And Indians used to always do this, especially to mark their way as a tree's growing. I have never carried a canoe up any kind of steep embankment like this. Very dangerous. You drop your canoe out here, you get a hole in it, not able to fix it, you are stranded. Or you twist an ankle, you fall down with it. I always make sure my first aid kit is ready and available when I'm doing something like this. When you grab a canoe and you take it up something like this, stability is very important, along with taking your time. You're making sure that both those feet are stable all the way before you take your next step. And you have to think, with every few feet that you go, if that canoe was to fall, where would you throw it? Where would be the best way for you to land and it land safely as possible? Wish me luck. Go through. That's fine. I didn't know how the fishing was going to be, but the water looks like mud, and I think it's only like 5 feet deep, the whole lake. Scratch that off the list, so I will be concentrating on shed hunting on these bluffs, one over there and one over here. I'll use dead branches and stuff to like block other areas. I do that all about 30-40 feet away from my camp, so it gives me a little bit of time to yell and pee my pants. So let me show you where I decided for a camp out of this whole lake. Every time you go to a new one, you have to survey the whole perimeter outside. This is the best area. It's an old trail. Right here. So what I take into account when I look for a place to camp, my fireplace on the edge of the rock, I want a flat slate to take stuff up, easy to get to and out. Also the camp, I'm looking for shade. You gotta remember which way the sun comes up, which way it goes down, and what time of day you're gonna be spending in camp. If it's gonna be morning, day, afternoon, depending on what your activities are. And then wind direction. The next few days it's out of the southeast. It's blowing hard that way. So my campfire I'm gonna have on the rock cliff over here is gonna blow that way. Any sparks I try to keep it at a minimum. In primitive area, do not unpack your stuff in here. Keep it all on the rock, organize it there, bring back only what you need, because losing something out here, everything you need out here you have, is almost a necessity. I'm just gonna rest my feet up the rest of the day so that tomorrow and the next day I can go hardcore on the shed hunting. Bringing them back from here though is gonna be even harder than the other sheds that I am bringing back. I think I have 6 that I'm bringing back so far. I wish I had somebody that was into this like as much as me, that I could trust and wouldn't try stabbing me. Yeah. Here's my camp, by the way. I just got here, so I gotta improve on it. We got the bear line set up. There's no other way. This is almost a peninsula. They could come in from there, put like this in front of it. Never mind. I'm gonna block it off though, so if they do come through there or through here, then I'll hear them. Got pesto with oil with mozzarella. Look at this. Look at this tree. This took a lot of energy from a bull to push that down. I mean, look at that. He'd have to bend his... I'm trying to figure out how he did it. Like, bend his head down and just pushed it until it wedged itself there? Because it's still alive, so it was recent. I don't understand. Some of these things out here that I think about way too much, though. Like, I'll probably be thinking about that till tonight. And then I'll replay this video later and think about it a lot more. If you're wondering about my hair, by the way, how it looks different every day, and some days fantastic. Like, amazing fantastic. Just a little sap from a pine tree mixed with ashes from the fire. It's a sad day when you see one that's rotted away. I'm so sorry. You would have been so beautiful. My bad. One every 3 or 4 days, and this bush will get up right by me. I see a moose up close. It's not a very easy on the heart thing to see. The first few times I about shit my pants. Moose get up right by me, and I didn't even see the moose. I just saw the shadow like cast over me, and it just started, like, all these trees, whew, every single one of them within like 4-inch diameter, plowed over. Whenever I am walking through this, I keep a keen eye out for any big trees every like 20-30 yards that I'm going, such as there's one right there that I could take cover from. Whenever picking rocks for your fire pit in primitive area, make sure you do not grab rocks that are near the shore, and especially not in the water. Make sure they come from up in high ground, because I have heard stories of these rocks when they have water seeped into a crack or whatever, or even in them somehow. They will heat up in a fire with a fire and explode like a bomb and cause permanent damage, or out here probably death. When you're walking through territory like this, especially when you have a big backpack that weighs a lot, when you get off balance, that balance can really, the weight can really shift really fast. Take your time, make sure that each foot is flat, because you don't know if it's going to be a sinkhole or not. You're not able to see. Even if you are able to see, you don't know exactly how far down deep that's going to go right there. So if you are about to fall, you can do one. I do one of two things. Either if I'm about to fall, I try to like balance myself out kind of like that. Or if I really feel I'm going to fall and I'm in a dangerous spot with rocks, I will like Hulk step it. Just, just power through it. It seems to work out for me. I don't know. I've never had a bad fall yet. Knock on wood. All right, where was I going? This way. I am marooned on an island. I thought I'd be able to make it out today. Fortunately, I'm not. The wind picked up. I thought I'd be able to take out before the wind got too bad. Right now it's at about 25 miles per hour, and I need to make it over behind those two islands is my takeout where my vehicle is. It got a little too bad, and I'll use my paddle for like a rudder, because I don't go fast in this when I'm going with the wind. I'll just slowly steer it. And I pulled something in my shoulder, so I had to take a break. And when I did, it picked up even more. I'm stuck here for the night in the middle of Seagull Lake, a little tiny island. All 16 days, I did not swim one day in the regular boundary waters. All of it has been primitive, including this, obviously. So, you see that island there? The one I'm on right now, standing on, is smaller. I need to make it right over there. Like 5 o'clock in the morning, and try to head with the wind and get out of here. If not, it's supposed to be 35 miles per hour tomorrow. I'd be marooned here for 2 days. I've been marooned on an island a little bit bigger than this for 4 days before. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, tried to beat the wind, but it was windy all night long, and it still is really bad. Not only that, but the wind has changed for the worse. I need to head that island right there. There's an island right here. There's a cove right here, and an island right here. I need to make it back over this way, in between that island and this island. Instinct says save the pole, save the line. And I almost died right up here by doing that. Let the pole go in the water. This is what you don't want to happen out of the middle of nowhere. Oh man. Lost my phone. That's the least of the worries. Least of the worries. Okay. Back first. Back first. I'm the first one now. Take my shoes off. Here we go. Alright. Is that the end of my trip? Fuck. Probably the end of my trip. Fuck me. Fuck me. I did not think I was going to live for a second. Oh, wow. I gotta lose my phone. Gotta be replaced right now. Oh, that's still dry. Right. That's right. Hey, good morning. So last night was pretty crazy. Second campfire story of Boundary Waters. So I've been talking to like 5 or 6 old timers in the Boundary Waters forum for a primitive management area 9 years ago or so. One of the guys I met was named William. He goes for like 2-3 weeks into the Boundary Waters. But anyways, I've been talking to him a long time, along with a few other guys, about different primitive routes, lakes that they haven't been to, they wish they got to. A lot of information. This was like my 3rd Boundary Waters trip, and maybe 4th one, and it was for two weeks, I believe, solo. And I put in at one spot, Lake 1, I think, and I took out at Cowishi Lake. It was a really long loop that I did. I went all the way up to Augie, And on my way up there on the Agamock Trail that goes through the whole Boundary Waters there, I got to the end of a port and met a guy that was, and this is in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the Boundary Waters, thousands and thousands of other spots that there could have been. But I met this guy at the end of the port. I was heading north, he was heading south, and he was happy to see me. He needed duct tape for his canoe. He popped a hole in it and had no duct tape. I was happy to help out. Didn't want to leave him stranded, obviously. And we sat down and had a little drink together at the end of the port and talked a little bit. And then I went on my way. He went on his way. But as I was walking away, he said, "Your name isn't Mike, by the way, is it?" I said, "What?" "Yeah, why?" He said, "Well, I'm Bill." I said, "No fucking way, man." This guy, his name's Bill.
Hey.
Bill.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Mike.
to meet you, finally. Been talking with him for a long time on the forums and stuff. And
it blew me away that
Yeah,
we met, man.
yeah.
Out here in the middle of the wilderness.
Right in the middle.
I'm so happy you hung out. I hurried back just to shoot the breeze a minute.
yeah.
And yeah, now it brings
Yep.
it full circle, man.
Yep, not only that, but this guy had a little pop in his canoe, and
Yeah.
I helped him out with some duct tape, and that makes it even odder of a chance of running into you for that. So, yeah, these three guys are in 2 canoes and a solo, and they came from Little Sag, where I came from. How you guys doing? That is crazy. Bill, hi, buddy. That was a crazy memory, right? Day 2 of being marooned on this island. Fishing is no good. You can't hunt, you can't forage, you can't shed hunt. I'm stranded on it, so nothing to do. I whittled some pieces of wood, but I'll give you guys some Boundary Waters stories, some of my experiences. That'll be in my book one day. Like I said, 6 months later I packed up and went to the Boundary Waters. I had no idea. I did a little bit of internet research on it. I was so ill prepared that I just had like 6 dry bags on me and a pillow. I brought a pillow, and I had a bungee cord too for some reason. And whenever I ported, I had to carry the kayak on my shoulder, and I did a long loop. I did from Muldrow all the way up to Curtin Falls and then back down. And I went through the primitive area, which is next to Bear Trap River, up to Sunday Lake and up to Iron Bay, and then back through like Thursday Bay down south. If you look that up, it's a crazy route to carry your kayak, a heavy kayak too. It was like 75 pounds on my shoulder. And so yeah, I went out there, and I also wanted to do like a survival thing. I wanted to test kind of how I was at, where I was. So I brought hardly any food at all, and I just wanted to eat fish, forage for berries, and drink the water, and that's it. I should have put some more weight on before I did it, because wow. Yeah. So, man, this could be a long story. Wow. It's too long. That's not even the craziest thing that's happened to me. This one year, me and my dad I took my dad up here 2 or 3 separate times, and we did a big loop, and I about killed him because I pushed him so far, but it was payback because he did that to me my whole life, hunting and fishing. And
Hey. Thanks.
how you feeling, Dad?
Well, I come around slowly.
Did I kill you today or what?
Huh?
Did I kill you today?
It's hard on me. We made it where we wanted. I'll tell you what. Wow, that was tough.
Yeah.
That was tough. God.
So after my payback, we were heading up through the Canadian route, the border route. We just got done with Curtin Falls, and we were heading all the open water. And as we were heading in the open water, you could see the sky just split. Sunny on one side and just like Tornadoville on the other, like near tornado. It was crazy. And it was all calm, and we were paddling east on the border, and you could feel the wind slowly like hitting our back and pushing us, and you could feel getting sucked into the storm as it's coming over us. And it was bad. And there was a camp spot pretty far away, so we started booking it. By the time we got there, there was already hail, sideways wind, rain, everything. It was crazy, and we needed to bunker down. But we seen that there was another canoe there, and the guy was very obliged, said, come on ashore, of course, take cover. There's a small little tiny island up there, and his name was Mark. And so we set up tarps, got it, everything okay. Storm got even worse, and then three other people came and also took bunker on that island. And so we all had a campfire that night and shared stories, had a few drinks. But the guy, Mark, he was so knowledgeable. And it turns out that when you ask people how long they've been up here when they're taken out, you know, that's a normal kind of question. When I asked him how long he's been up here, he replied to me something to the effect of, well, I think I put in late May. I was like, what? And then you took out and then put back in? No, he's like, no, I put in late May. He comes up here for like 5 months at a time or more. Just has caches, I think, around and just bounces around. He says he follows the berries from east to west I think that's the direction that he said. He was so knowledgeable. We were on this small island and talking to him about berries and stuff, and he just left and walked away. 10 minutes later, comes back with spearmint, you know, June berries I think he had, and a few other things. Wintergreen. And the guy he doesn't wear shoes either. He goes barefoot everywhere. And I looked him up recently, and it turns out that he just came out with an app or something that shows every single port and the descriptions of it, because he is one of the first people to go through every single port in the Boundary Waters. So that is the guy that we spent the night with. And really, I didn't become who I am going through Primitive because of him, but he definitely was a huge inspiration to me. Now, he doesn't do like Primitive and Bushwhack. Everyone comes up for their own reason. Everyone's got their own thing that they want to do, and that's great. You don't have to do it. If you're a person that brings steak and eggs in and comes just 2 lakes in and has it with a 5-star resort and an inflatable bed, good for you. Enjoy it. If you're someone that comes up here and goes 5 lakes in and brings a little radio and a little TV or something, fine, good for you. Enjoy it. I'm not hating. No reason for anyone to hate on each other, as long as you're not disturbing someone else. But okay, next story. This happened 65 years ago. I was on Alice Lake, and at the northeast end of it is a camp spot before you go on a long port to Thomas Lake, I believe. And I stayed at that camp spot, and I wanted to shed hunt around old growth. And so it was the middle of summer, though. Made it really, it's pretty tough to shed hunt in the summer. I was at the edge of that camp spot, just overlooking the water, and I got doing something, and it was silent out. No wind at all. And it was like 92 degrees or something. And it was crazy hot. All of a sudden I heard a I'm wondering, like, is my stove, what's going on? I look on over, and right up, I remember exactly where, and right up against the canyon, next to the canyon wall in the water, was a little tornado happening. I mean, it had so much, it brought a lot, or hurricane, whatever, sucked a lot of water off, and it was no wind out once again. Super hot day. And you could just see all the tornado, like, water coming up right there.
and it was the size of like 2 canoes. I was just thinking, my God, if someone was canoeing right there, you could see like the water was like not boiling, but it was like turning too. Like, I'm pretty sure it would have capsized the canoe. That's not the story though. I have 2 other things that also happened in almost that exact same spot, okay? First one is, I have it on film too, on one of my videos. I caught a fish. I got the northern up to the boat and he broke the line and he got off. So I retied on another lure. I threw it out, and 1 or 2 casts after I threw it out, I got one. I bring it up, and my treble hook is snagged on the line, just like the line like looped around the treble hook somehow of that northern that got away. And I'm reeling that up, and I get a hold of the line, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna get a hold of the lure with the northern that I just lost. And I grabbed on the bill, I think. I don't know why, but I grabbed on the bill of the lure and he got off. And I'm holding the bill and I'm like, man, that's such an odd thing to happen, right? Like 2 casts later and I get the line that's attached to him. Not even the craziest part. I think it was the next day. Yeah, the next day, and I was fishing like half a mile north of there in the very corner pocket of that lake, the very northeast end. And I'm on this one spot that I fish all the time when I'm up that way. And right up against my canoe, I see that lure. That wind had just perfectly drifted that northern let go of that lure eventually, got it out of his mouth, and that wind perfectly drifted it up north, and then had to have a backwind also to bring it back to that shore where I was, because it's like an alleyway coming up and then back, and I'm back here. That's pretty... Dude.
Never mind. Yes, I do. That's the one that broke my line.
Wrong way. Take a right. One right. There you go.
Okay, so the lure yesterday that broke off on the big northern, and then 1 cast later on, I caught the line that was attached to that lure on that northern and almost got that northern in. And while I was reaching for him, the lure that was stuck on him that broke off, the bill snapped. And so the lure was still stuck on him. I had the bill of the lure with the steel leader, and he swam away. Now that was on the other end of this river that I'm on. I don't know, half a mile away, and we had south winds going this way. That south wind went all the way this way, and then now today we have north winds. And the one place that I fish all the time is this peninsula right here. And this is where I ended up, right here. There's a lot of coincidences, if you believe in that coincidence.
That's pretty crazy, right? Here's an even crazier one. About 200 yards from that on shore, I started shed hunting. And when you shed hunt, usually I try to take moose paths that lead to other lakes, because that's the most chance that you're going to find a shed, is because moose go more to other lakes than they do just to the hill country. But there was nothing past where I was going. It was just all hill country and bogs and weird terrain. But I just decided just to make a straight line out and then zigzag on the way back, and whatever kind of terrain it was, which you go through everything when you're doing that. I was about 25 minutes out in a horrible bog. I mean, it was a bad bog, and it was Mosquitoville. I had my bug net on, but it was horrible. It was horrible. And I'm going through and I see this little white out of my eye. I'm like, what the? And you know, I'm looking for sheds, and that's like more an ivory color, and I'm like, what is this? And it's all covered by the bog, and I uncover it and I empty it out, and it's a 5-gallon bucket, and it's got a Coleman grill in a little plastic case inside of it. And I'm like, what the hell is this doing out here? This makes no sense. No sense why anyone would be through that part right there. There's no lake beyond that. It's a bog where nobody would ever want to be. If you're going to store a cache, you wouldn't do it that far in, ever. No way. And so I uncover and I open up, and it's got a propane grill, not propane, old gas Coleman grill, and it's really nice. It's like 50, 60 years old or something like that, and it's got propane in it, or gas, whatever. And I'm thinking, well, this is pretty freaking odd for someone to leave a grill this far out, because I'm about 2 days away from land if I tried just beelining it with good weather and not bad wind. So why would they leave a grill all the way out here? This makes no sense. 5-gallon bucket also had like a screw in it, or no, a drill bit, and a few other little things. Well, okay, well, boggled my mind. I just sat there for a little bit trying to figure out why, what, and then I start looking around for more stuff. I think I found something else, but then I saw something blue while I'm trying to move the bog around, and it's very boggy. I mean, it's the type you can jump on and, you know, just move. And so I uncover it, and it's blue, and I stretch it more out, and it's a tent. And it's not a tent in a bag or nothing. It's a tent that's been like out. And I uncover it all, and it's a one-man tent. I look at each side, and on one side there are big tears down it, and there's like rust color all over it. So I marked the location with the GPS, and I didn't mess around with it anymore after that. Why would anyone leave a tent that far out? So for it to have that rust all over it with a tear on one side only and spread out in the bog in the middle of nowhere where nobody should even be going. So I came back, got a hold of the rangers and the police, talked with them, gave them all the information. Okay, while searching for antlers and bones, I'm going through a bog off of Alice Lake. It's I don't know, about a 20-minute walk through a lot of bush. I found a bucket, which people back in the day used to always carry buckets, some still do, then a Coleman grill. Okay, I got that, and it's old school, so it's been here for a while, but it's got fuel in it, which is odd. This with the drill bit on it. There's a tent. This is in the middle of nowhere. Leaving a bucket behind and all that, that's one thing. Then leaving a stove behind, well, that's a nice stove, and that's got fuel in it. That's a little weird. But leaving a tent behind, and you're at least a few days away from put-in. So I stretched the tent out, and the tent, leave everything as is, and I will let rangers know. So this was 5 years ago. I was heading south from Boulder Lake to Adams Lake. I got done with the port, and I heard, it seemed like in my imagination, like a faint, help me. I was like, and then like, I got in my canoe and I heard it again. And it sounded so faint and so weird. I thought it was in my mind. I thought I was going crazy for a second. And I started hooking around the corner, and through there you have like a little aisle in between to till you get to a camp spot that's on an island right in front of you. And then I heard it again, even louder, and I was like, oh shit, there's an actual person yelling for help. I'm trying to figure out the location because I got wind and a little bit of an echo going on, and it's towards the island. And I start paddling, and I get closer, and so I start kind of digging in, thinking maybe someone's drowning, or I don't know what's happening. And I'm digging in. I get closer, and then all of a sudden I see a guy on the side of the island on the rock slate there, and he yells, help me, anybody out there? And I respond, and he sees me, and he's thrilled, and he looks okay to me. And so I go on up, and I get closer, and he doesn't say anything. I don't say anything until I get there. I park the canoe, and I start talking to him. Right away, he tells me like this long story of what happened last night that had nothing to do with what actually happened. This is how he starts off, with telling me about his problem. And then out of nowhere, and like I forget what the story pertained about, how he cooked dinner or something like that, and wish he would have had something else, or I don't know, something along those lines. But then afterwards, he says, after like this 10-minute spiel, he goes, and then all of a sudden I heard my canoe just, and I looked out, and it was in the middle of the lake. I'm like, I look around, and there's no canoe there. And I'm like, so what you need help with is your canoe is gone. That's what you're saying to me. And he says, yeah, my canoe, I don't know. The wind was going that way. It might have gone, drifted out that way. I wonder if you give me a ride and we could look for it. And I said, yeah, sure, man. I mean, I was on a 3-week trip, so I was like, yeah, sure. Let's have some adventure. His paddle was gone too. Okay, so there's two big problems. You can't, you need one with the other. So we go around and finally see his canoe. I mean, I just barely saw it. It looked like a big stick in the water. It was just bobbing. It wasn't even too shore yet. That's how long it took for it to drift that way. I mean, it's a big lake. But it was just like the air pocket. The other one had already like collapsed or something. Maybe he had it open. I have no idea. But it was just one air pocket of the canoe right there. So we had to tie a rope on and then drag it with our canoe, with my canoe, to shore, empty it all out. And he almost broke the canoe when he was empty. I told him to go slow. And he did it like shaking it, and all of a sudden the rivets started coming out, and you could tell the Kevlar almost busted when he was trying to get that water out. So anyways, we looked for his paddle up until like 4 o'clock, and I said, hey man, I gotta get going, look for he said, don't worry man, I'll just make a paddle. I said, are you sure, man? Like, I said, and I even offered to him to have half of my paddle. Because I have a kayak paddle. I was like, you can take this half, and we'll just create, like, with sticks and rope, like a T on it, you know. And he felt too, he was so happy just to have his canoe back. I wonder what happened. Trevor, if you're watching this, Trevor, what happened to you? Did you end up whittling a canoe paddle? Did you? I have no idea. I'm glad I helped him out, but I don't even know how long he was stranded for. But anyways, another story, Boundary Waters. The ideas of what we came up with was, I thought, a little far out there, but if someone was with someone and they wanted to kill someone, or something happened, they wanted to get rid of the evidence, maybe that's why all that stuff was that far out in the middle of a place where it shouldn't have been. But why didn't they just burn the tent, over a fire, and sink the grill in the lake? It would have been a lot easier than hiking all that ways. And maybe there's a guy that was out there exploring, but what would he be exploring out there at all? There's no other lakes, no other creeks, rivers around. If you're bushwhacking, looking for sheds like I was, or anything near that, you're not going to take your gear with you. The Alice Lake is right there. It's a beautiful lake to camp on. There's no way you'd be choosing to take your tent out there anywhere. There's nowhere even to set up a tent once you get past. Alice Lake Forest is so thick. So anyways, they had their own weird things. Like, he was really offended. So we went to bed and woke up, And like I said, I strung my bow up, ready to go bow hunting for the day. And I'm making breakfast. And he wakes up and he's got this weird freaking look in his eyes, man. And he comes up to me next to the fire, doesn't say anything, just kind of hovers next to me. I say, hey man, I got pancakes about ready, and you need to drop me off so I can go hunting. He looks at me, he says, no man, we need to go. And I look at him, what are you talking about, man? We're not leaving. He goes, yeah, we need to get out of here. Like, leave. I need to get back home. I said, what is the problem here? We have perfect weather, man. It's perfect weather out. We have plenty enough food. What is going on? This is my vacation that you're talking about, that I took you up here free of charge and guiding you and providing everything. What is the problem? He didn't tell me what the problem was, but he whipped out his buck knife. I'm talking about like a 5-inch blade on it. Whipped it out and put it up to me and said, we need to get going or else. We're in the middle of nowhere in a 2-man canoe, and only I know how to get back. Only I know how to get back. I dropped the pancakes and looked at him and said, there is no going back from what you just did, man. There's a lot of things you could have done. There's no going back from pulling a knife out on me. I said, I am done with you. I'm done with your family. I'm never talking to you again. Ever. We're done. I said, I will take you back. But after that, we are never talking. So I packed up stuff, cut my losses, my whole damn trip and everything, and made our way back. And on the way back, we canoed through lots of different streams, and as you're getting close to pudding, you start seeing other people. We ran on to a group of 2 guys that went by the other way. They're coming in, we're taking out. And usually it's a common thing to ask each other, you have a good trip? You guys have a good trip? They asked us that. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck? How do I respond to that? Well, Theo responds and says, yeah, man, we had a great trip. I started laughing, and I looked at him, I said, no freaking way did we have a good trip, man. This guy almost stabbed me and threatened my life if I didn't take him out of here because he's freaking out like a little girl and can't handle the outdoors. Theo, couldn't believe I said that. And neither could they. And they just kept on going, and we didn't say anything to each other. Got back to the car, and the car is parked on the last road in America that's a dirt road. It's the last road that there is before lakes and rivers and forests and all that. I'm thinking about leaving him right then and there. Just, hey man, I get you back to land, here you go. But it's like a 2.5-hour drive or 2-hour drive from where the vehicle was until the next town. There'd be other cars and stuff and other people you could get a ride from, but I felt I still, being a good person myself, needed to at least take him back to town. I took him back to town, packed up stuff, got the canoe on top, and went on back. And as we're getting into town, I called my wife, which my wife at the time. The bitch sucks having a woman cheat on you and then want a different life only 2 years after marriage. I call her up and I say, hey, yeah, things went south. I had a hotel planned for that night for me and Theo. And I told her, I said, there's no way I'm sharing a hotel with him. And I told Theo, I said, hey man, if you're willing to be on video and say to the camera that you're not going to mess up my vehicle, I'll let you stay in the back of my vehicle for the night. I was still at that time willing to drive him back. The person that threatened to kill me because I was such good friends with his wife. He threw a fit. Fuck you. I said, fine, I'm dropping you off the airport. You can rent a car. And that's it. So, another crazy thing that happened to me out here.